Hello and welcome to the Car Care Nut channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 car myths in 2025 that some folks very much believe in, but they're actually not true, and some of them are actually the opposite. They are actually harmful. So let's start with the first one right after this. Do you need to pre-fill your oil filter when you do an oil change? This is one that is so heavily debated to a point that fights break out because of it. Here is the truth, folks. In 2025, that is not only a myth, it's actually harmful to do so. Some folks will disagree, and that's okay. Let's talk about it because we may change some minds, maybe mend some hearts. The idea is you do an oil change, you drain the filter. That filter was full of oil. Now it's not full of oil. You just put a new filter. When you start your car again, it's going to take some time for that filter to fill up, and you're going to run the engine basically dry of oil momentarily. Now, on paper or in 1955, that was the case. Today, that is not the case. Here's the problem with pre-filling your oil. You are basically introducing non-filtered oil into the engine. Now, some folks will say, well, I just took it out of the bottle, it's perfect. Is it? Is your environment perfect? Did stuff fall in as you're installing the filter? Well, that's unfiltered now. You ever think about that? That's the first thing. The second thing is, modern cars have oil pumps that are rapid, and they're designed for that. I mean, remember, oil in the older cars were just for lubrication and cooling. In today's cars, it's used in many other systems. We have turbos that need oil, need rapid oil to go to them. We have variable valve timing that needs it. We have variable valve lift. We even have variable compression in some cars. All these systems, in some way, shape, or form, will rely on oil not as a lubricant or a cooler. It's going to rely on it as a hydraulic fluid. So oil pumps need to be rapid in supplying that oil pressure to them because you have zero pressure when the car is off. I mean, you shut off the car, it immediately drops to zero. That's just how oil pressure works. So that little filter, you notice modern cars have smaller and smaller filters. We don't have these giant filters anymore because we don't really need them. So oil pumps have rapid pressure. When you start them, it'll immediately jump to full pressure. And because of that, you don't really need to fill that filter. No repair manual mentions it. Some manufacturers actually advise against it because of the unfiltered part. And then if that was the case, all filters would be, the face of the filter would be up so you can fill it. That's not the case. Actually, majority of cars don't even have that. They're sideways or sometimes up. Well, how do you pre-fill them in that case? Don't pre-fill your oil filter before an oil change, folks, because the only thing you're doing there is potentially harming the engine, or you're just doing that to feel better about it. That is a total myth, and actually the opposite. It could be harmful, so don't do it. How about putting your transmission in neutral when you stop at a traffic light? Folks, that is a myth, and actually it does have some harmful effects. Here's the debate about this one. Well, when you're stopped at a traffic light, the torque converter is still turning, but the transmission is stopped. So you're actually going to create the highest amount of heat possible, and you will slightly elevate the transmission temperature when you do that for a long period of time. Well, let's start with a long period of time. The longest traffic light in the United States on record is 5 minutes 33 seconds. Most traffic lights are a minute or two. I want you to realize one thing. Your transmission temperature in this minute or two of stopping will slightly be elevated. See, most folks will look at the elevated part, not the slightly, but I want you to pay attention to the slightly. I mean, we're talking 3-4 degrees. That's it. And not where it's going to overheat. No, within the normal operating temperature range. So Here's why it's just not a good idea. Every time you put your transmission in neutral, the powertrain moved, all the engine and transmission mounts moved, and then when you put it in drive, they all moved again and again and again. And if you're in a city and you encounter 15 traffic lights in a row, you just did all this extra motion for nothing. And then the clutches, engage, disengage, engage, disengage. I understand when you drive the car, it's going to do that. But now you're adding this over and over and over and over. If you drive in a city, I mean, you're going to wear out a lot of this clutch for no reason, for 2 or 3 degrees. Don't do that, folks. Put it in drive the car. Don't worry about the little details. That is a total myth, folks. Actually, it's a harmful myth, if anything. The next one is, which is a very important one, old cars that are made with real steel and strong, they are much safer than these toy, fragile little new cars, modern cars. Folks, that is a very dangerous myth. Let's talk about it here. And the best way I'd explain it is, I'll give you like a little demonstration. You take a hammer. You strike this hammer with full force at another piece of steel or something solid like a rock. What are you going to feel in your hands? You're going to feel that jar and vibration. It could actually hurt your hand. But if you take that same hammer and hit a sponge with it, you're going to feel nothing. Or if you take the sponge and hit it against that steel object that is solid, you're also going to feel nothing. That's exactly the point. See, old cars, when you go to the fenders, the hood, everything else, you feel it's like the solid steel. You touch it, it ain't even moving. You go out on cars, you just do this, everything crumples and just kind of soft. And that gives you an impression, well, this thing just is going to crumple like a little toy. And that's how you usually see modern cars look like after accidents. That is exactly the point. Modern cars are designed with crumple zones. They're basically meant to be the sponge between you and the hard objects you just hit. They will crumple in a way to protect you, not physically, not only physically, they will protect you physically, but they will protect you from the impact energy, not to be completely unloaded. They're kind of like slow the car down and slow the impact energy so it wouldn't harm you. That's the whole point. Because I see this all the time with folks preferring old cars because they're safer. They are actually not. You want your car to crumple and save you. I prefer, if God forbid you get in an accident, that the car crumples and sacrifices itself to save me and my family. I don't want the car to save itself. Don't save yourself, car. Sacrifice yourself for me and my family. Keep that in mind, because the idea here is that you walk out of the accident uninjured, not have a lower body shop repair bill or have your car look like, oh, look, nothing happened to it, looks like new. That's not the point. We want cars to keep us safe, not look good doing it. Finding an ultra low mileage car is the best thing to do for cars to buy. That is a very dangerous one as well. Folks, cars are meant to be driven, not parked. You go buy that 15-year-old car with 2,000 miles, in your mind, oh my God, I found the best gem in the planet. This is it. This is a brand new car from 15 years ago. That is hardly the case. Because you don't know how this car was maintained, because even though it only has 2,000 miles, you still have to do some maintenance on this car over the time. You don't know how it was stored. You don't know what happened to it. There are some folks out there, God bless them, but they will find a way to destroy a car in 2,000 miles. I'd much rather you look at a car that has normal mileage, very well maintained, very well taken care of, has a full service history. It has been proven, it's been driven, not just sitting in some barn or some garage forever, not driven. You don't even, the person that owns it doesn't even know if it has some kind of defect when it was new. How do you? Age takes the biggest toll on cars, folks, not mileage. Maintain a car well, the mileage will just keep counting up, especially in modern times. Age, however, will make a car look like brand new on the outside, but behind the scenes, things are completely falling apart. Be very careful with very low mileage cars. Inspect them even more than at normal mileage cars, because they could be hiding catastrophic things behind the scenes that are just simply falling apart from age. And remember, cars are meant to be driven, not parked. Don't let your alternator charge that battery for you. Folks, unfortunately in 2025, I still see folks that will refuse to buy a battery and prefer to carry a jumper. Just in case it dies, I got the jumper. In the end, those folks will end up replacing the battery and the alternator. And here's why. Modern car alternators are not a generator. They're not a charger. They're a maintainer. They're meant to power the electronics and slowly maintain a healthy battery. You put an unhealthy battery with an alternator of modern cars, you're going to always run this alternator at its maximum capacity. For efficiency, folks, alternators operate almost at nothing. And here's the other mistake. Say you have a car you don't drive much. You want to charge the battery using the alternator. Drive the car. Don't just let it running idling, because that destroys the alternator. At such low RPM, these alternators barely charge anything. And you let it just sit there, you did nothing but harm the alternator. Bottom line is, your battery fails the load test, replace it. Don't risk replacing an alternator later. It's just not worth it. Please. Folks, I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. If you like it, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. And until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have yourself a wonderful day.